Howdy folks, greetings from Jasper National Park here at an amazing vantage point, as you can see. Old Fort Point it's called. Just a 20-minute or so walk, or actually a bike ride, biked out here from the town of Jasper, there behind me, and beautiful Pyramid Mountain on an amazing sunny day after a snowstorm. So this video is on the subject of the problem with most human souls, part 2. And so I did a video a couple of days ago, hiking out in the forest back there behind town, and I just wanted to follow up with that with a few other ideas related to this concept. First though, really quick, continuing with my suggestions of some of my various favorite music, then in this video then I thought that I would recommend the album Astral Weeks by Van Morrison. This is an amazing album. I actually haven't listened to it in more than a decade at least, but it just popped into my mind as one of my favorite albums. It's really good. It's very kind of free-form, really soothing, very just beautiful, quite different from Van Morrison's more sort of pop-oriented stuff, but very good, just kind of relaxing, like turn the lights down and just zone out kind of a album. So feel free to check down below the video here for the link to Van Morrison Astral Weeks. So getting on to the subject of the problem with most human souls, then what I explained in that video was basically that our energetic selves have become collapsed inwards. Rather than expressing ourselves, our creative beings, by radiating our energy from within and broadcasting it out to the world, then we've become collapsed inwards so that our energy is like folding back into itself instead of expressing outwards. And this becomes a, perpetuated problem because the energy just kind of gets trapped, flowing inwards, and it then becomes stagnant and repressed, and people are just stuck in that state of being, of their energetic selves not being in a state of spontaneous flow, expressing outwards from the core of their soul, and instead being in this enclosed, trapped, energetic, like a vortex of energy, getting stuck flowing within instead of expressing outwards. And so one of the key aspects of the spiritual path really is figuring out how to get your energy, the energy of your consciousness, moving again in some way or another. And this is the process of reversing that flow of energy, of collapsed energy, so that it is flowing from your being outwards into the world. And so there are various ways to get this going, and it can be some form of creative expression. It could be writing, art, music. It could be on a more physical level of learning karate or practicing yoga or tai chi or qigong or whatever. Just finding some way to tap into one's energetic flow and get it moving again. But I want to focus on one especially important thing that can really reverse that energetic conundrum. The important thing here is to understand that you can be working around the core issue with a lot of these various exercises and artistic pursuits and whatnot. Ultimately, you have to get down to the core energetic frozen energy at the center of your being. You can be working around that and and tapping into various energetic reservoirs of expression within oneself in various ways. But you need to keep drilling downwards into one's being, breaking through ever deepening layers of repression and denial within the soul, so that you can ultimately get to, and this is just kind of difficult to describe exactly, but eventually you get to like the ultimate bottom of your soul in a way, and you find just, it's almost just like this ball of energy at the core of your being that is an essential aspect of oneself to get in touch with. It is a connecting point between the mind and this deeper aspect of one's being, another place within your consciousness that is different from the mind, but is an essential component of one's soul. So I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but once you find that core place, then and open it up energetically, then you get an energetic flow going between your mind and this other aspect of your being, and you open up the source of real love within you, basically. And this is the feminine element, as I understand it. This is what is referred to in the Right Use of Will books that I've mentioned in various videos as the will, as the feminine component. And this is the ultimate problem, is that we are separated. There is a separation between the masculine and the feminine, the upper and the lower. And so one very potent, powerful way to break up one's frozen energetic parts of the soul is by tapping into anger. And I've mentioned this in various other videos, but it really can't be overstressed in my view, because it is not something that is really discussed on most spiritual paths as being a very powerful way of reversing that problem of collapsed energy and getting that energy moving back outwards. Because anger is an active energy, a force of personal expression, expressing outwards into the world. And it is not, it's not fun, it's not something that people want to be around. And so this is something that I absolutely stress that people do on their own, or you're going to screw up a lot of relationships if you take this advice of expressing your anger and express it onto other people that it has nothing to do with, because it's your old denied crap from your childhood or past lives, or your own misunderstandings about yourself, or anger at God, or whatever. This is really something to be done on your own, unless it is something specifically related to a circumstance with somebody else and it's actually relevant to that person. But mostly what I'm talking about is dealing with old, denied, ancient stuff. So there are various ways that one can work with this, but it's really just about acknowledging, recognizing that anger is a human emotion that we all experience. It is natural, it is normal, it is acceptable. It may very well not be acceptable to dump it on somebody else, and it may or may not be reasonable, or it doesn't have to be justified in my view. It just is what it is, and you have to deal with it, and you have to acknowledge it. And when you can tap into that emotion and get it flowing in some way, then you can really start to claim your space, open up your own personal space, and change that energetic phenomenon so that you start broadcasting your energy outwards instead of being stuck within and collapsed inwards. And once you tap into that emotion and get it flowing, then you can start accessing other layers of your being beneath that. So this is basically a way of tapping into other parts of yourself, is what it comes down to. Is it's not about being stuck in anger. You want to think of it as like striations in rock of different layers, due to history. And so what you have within your soul is this layer of anger, and you need to bust through it and get through it and work through it and cleanse your soul, release it from your soul, and then you can get down into other parts of your being by tapping into that, by getting it out of yourself. Because anger does not have to be within our souls. We can deal with it, get through it, get beyond it, and then get into a state of being that is beyond being angry. But you don't get there by denying what genuinely exists within you, because it will otherwise ever be an anchor within your soul holding you down. You can get as far away from it as you can and think that you've resolved it, but as long as it's the truth of your soul in some way, then you've left behind a part of your being, and so you're not in a state of wholeness, and one way or another you will eventually have to come back and reclaim that part of yourself. You can get as far away from it as you can and think that you've completely left it behind, but you are not in a state of unity of being, because that is part of your experience. That is an energetic phenomenon of your own soul, and you have to claim it and take responsibility for it at some point or another. So I think that pretty well gets the idea across. I will put another link down below this video to another video talking about anger, which will go into a little bit further. I've discussed it in previous videos before, so no need to go over all that once again here, but for anyone who might be curious to hear a few more of my thoughts on how to deal with that, and some personal experiences of mine from a number of years ago when I was working through that layer of anger and how I actually dealt with it and stuff like that. So thanks for watching, and one more little shot of this spectacular view. Standing spot. All right, take care.